We are going live very soon. And now we are live on YouTube. Thank you so much, everyone, for connecting with us today. My name is Apia, and we are very excited to come your way today with this amazing information session, this amazing live stream, How to Study in Canada 2024. We have pro tips for international students, right? So, whichever part of the world that you are connecting from outside of Canada, this event is for you. And I'll strongly encourage you to invite your friends. Just share the link on YouTube, share on TikTok, invite your friends to connect. As you can see, my guest is ready. He's an amazing man of God, amazing, um, you know, amazing personality, amazing everything. And today he's going to walk us through studying in Canada, right? He's going to walk us through step by step. So um, I'll just go ahead and ask him to introduce himself and tell us everything about himself. And there's one amazing story that he never told this to me directly, but I've seen a lot of his live sessions and videos, and I know that when God is in it, there is nothing that man can do. He shared a story where back on campus, he's my senior back on campus, University of Cape Coast, right? And he shared a story how it got to a time in his life that it was just a matter of I'm done with school. I'm done with school. But see how far God has brought him. Not that he was academically challenged, but financially, he got to a point in his life where there was no money available to even pay his fees, his tuition. And he was just on his bed and praying and just like, okay, this is it. If God doesn't come through, but God brought an angel his way. So, without wasting time, I'll just go ahead and let him um, share a little about him, and we'll just go right into it.
All right. Thank you, brother. I hope viewers can hear me. It's a terrible voice, but we will trust God for grace to go through this
Yeah.
successfully. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's a privilege to be here, and I'm looking forward to how this is going to be beneficial to us and to all our networks who will be watching us from far and near. So my name is King George Aqua, right? So I'm a Ghanaian currently residing in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. Yeah, I am married with three kids, two boys and a girl. So yeah, I'm a busy man by all standards. I'm a busy man.
Yeah.
I also minister the gospel of God through music and preaching. So that is something that is like vital in my life as well.
Mhm.
And professional wise, currently I am an academic advisor at
Okay.
the University of Regina. But let me just put this on record that I am not here representing the University of Regina in any capacity. Whatever I'm going to share here is from my personal experience and personal responsibility. So I am to be held accountable for anything. My employer has nothing to do with whatever I'm going to share today. Yeah. So yeah, I did a chunk of my schooling in Ghana from the primary all the way to the university, and I schooled with Apia in the University of Cape Coast, and I did my bachelor's in the University of Cape Coast. Then I did a master's degree there. Then right after the master's in Cape Coast, I got an opportunity to come and study in Canada for a second master's, which I gladly took. And then after the second master's, I got enrolled in a PhD program That is a story nobody knows. So yeah, I'm a disappointed PhD candidate. Yeah. So yeah,
Oh wow, wow,
I
that's
did
new to me as well.
I did a PhD for 1 year, and then
Mm,
the only professor who could supervise me was going on retirement.
wow.
So as an international student, my options were limited. So I had to quickly look for another school. That's how come I did three masters. I didn't need three
Oh
masters
wow,
degree for
three
anything.
masters.
I didn't need them for anything, so I don't like talking about
My
them.
God,
Yeah,
yeah.
but all the same, I have not regretted doing any of those things.
Mm,
And yeah, I've been in Canada since 2014. So all my children were born here. They don't know where Ghana is, but I'm planning to take them back home because they need to know and see the ghetto. Yeah. So yeah, and also to put on record, all the things we'll be discussing and sharing today is I am not a regulated immigration consultant, so I'll be limited in the things I can say online. But the things I say, I do say them not to advise or address specific situations, but a general information session.
okay.
So yeah, maybe during the course of the interview and the discussion, a lot of things about me will come up as well. So yeah, for now, I think yeah, that is me.
All right, thank you so much, King George, and I'm blown away by your story. Like you said, disappointed PhD student ended up with three master's degrees. That is amazing. So, just to go right to the point, right? I know you did all this by yourself. So the
Yeah,
question that people will be asking is, should they use an agent, or is it something that they can do it by themselves? And if they can do it by themselves, I mean, what do they need to look out for in terms of, where do they start from? How do they even find a school?
that's definitely an amazing question. So you can either use an agency or you do it by yourself.
Okay.
Now, both ways there are pros and cons, right?
Right.
So I did everything by myself, and because of that, I got experience to be able to teach other people. But I wouldn't say it was the easiest of things to do,
Mm,
right? So when you're doing it by yourself, it's time consuming, and sometimes, like you rightly said, people don't even know where to start from.
mhm.
So yes, you can do it by yourself, and then you can also use an agent. But when you are using an agent, please watch out for all the red flags and
Mm,
make sure you are involved in every step of the way.
right.
There's this story I've been sharing on TikTok a lot. Uh, one person wanted me to work on a school for her, and something came up, and she asked me whether, uh, somebody is already applying for a visa for her. Would that be a problem? I
Mm,
told her that is not going to be a problem, but I would need you to find out from the person the information they used to apply for you, so that
okay.
in case you are doing the school application, we know we are using the right information. And to my amazement, somebody who was born in 1994, the agent stated in the application that the person went to high school in 1997. So the
Wow.
person was 3 years old when she went to high school. And then they had created some businesses in the name of the person. She wasn't aware.
Mm,
She was the
mm,
CEO of this, manager of that. That girl knew nothing.
wow.
So it was just God, because if we had put in the application for her, we were going to use the right information, and that was
Hmm.
going to contradict the existing information, and that
Yeah.
was going to lead to straight 5 year ban.
Wow. 5-year ban for
Straight up.
falsifying information. Wow.
Straight up. So yes, you can do it by yourself totally from beginning to the end. You can
Mm,
do it by yourself, and then you can be getting information from the right sources here and there. But there's nothing wrong using an agency as well. The only thing
wow.
I ask is that when you're using an agency, please be fully involved in the entire process.
Wow. Be fully involved in the entire process. So,
Yes.
talking about agencies and how it can lead to people getting being banned. There was a story in the news where hundreds of students actually from India I think they use all, these agencies use all these fraudulent means, and they ended up that majority of them they paid their fees and all, but they had to be taken away from the school and all that. And I know that due to all these things that are happening, people from India, from Ghana, from Nigeria, Kenya, all these agents try to take advantage. The government, the federal government of Canada, have introduced new policies and new changes in how study permits work and all that. Can you share with us what is happening now? What should people look out for?
Yeah, so no, this is it's the more reason I have devoted myself to speak to such topics, because it's very pathetic that you spend huge sums of money and
Hmm.
then you get to the airport and you have to go back home. Uh, Now, this is what other people were doing. That is why the policy I'm going to talk about is because of this.
Okay.
What some agencies are doing is that they will take your money and tell you they've gotten admission for you. But what they have actually done is that they have taken the admission letter of an existing applicant they did in the past.
Oh
And
wow.
then they edit the information, they put your name, your date of birth, and all that on the admission letter, and then they send it to you, knowing perfectly that you will not request access to the
Mm-hmm.
student
Mm-hmm.
portal to check
Okay.
all these things. And also because they are doing all the visa application and everything for you, you are just relaxed, waiting for the final thing. So, yes, initially you could go through it because immigration will not double check with the school in the first
Okay.
instance.
Okay.
So you if everything is okay, you get your visa. Now at the port of entry, they ask you to log into your student portal just to
Wow.
verify the authenticity of your admission letter.
Admission.
And
Okay.
that is where people were found wanting. They
Hmm.
called the school and their names were not in any system of the school. And
Wow.
because of that, from December 1st, which is just 2 days ago,
Okay.
what immigration is doing is that they have added a step called the verification process to the normal procedure of processing visas. So, right now, when you apply for your study permit,
Mm-hmm.
immigration will go the extra mile of reaching out to the school to validate your admission letter,
Okay.
to make sure it's authentic, to make sure it is not fraudulent before they even do other background checks.
Wow.
So, right now, the danger is that if you don't get involved with these agents and then they put in the application for you,
Hmm.
immigration will verify, they realize your name is not there. And it's not the agent who is going to be in trouble. It's you, it's your name, it's your
Yeah. Yeah.
information.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
there's any punishment, it's coming on. So one major thing immigration has started doing is the verification process. And this is a big deal that I want
Hmm.
everybody to be very cautious of. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. They just announced it and it came into effect on December 1st, 2023.
Yeah.
They didn't even wait for the new year to start. That is how urgent the whole thing is. And
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
thing that is happening, maybe we will get there, but let me say before I forget,
Mm-hmm.
students come to Canada, they don't want to study, they want to go and work. Right
Yeah.
now, if you are caught, they are also trying to put in place things that could help them detect such people. If you are
Okay.
caught, no problem. Just go back to your home country because you are not ready to study.
Yeah.
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 So basically, this is what is going on currently when it
Yeah.
comes to the process.
Yeah. And guys, the danger of getting yourself caught up in such a situation is that not only are you barred from coming into Canada, but most developed countries, the immigration, they share information, right?
Yeah.
So if you get caught in such a fraudulent act, or you go there and you say, oh, you don't want to school, you're going to go to school, fine. I mean, you want to go work, and you get caught and you get deported, that information is going to be shared with United Kingdom, with Australia, with the US, and it's going to even prevent you from getting access to other things, whether it's a
That's right.
visa, or even if someone is filing for you, it's going to create confusion. So if you want to study abroad, no matter how much you are paying an agent, get involved.
Get involved.
I had someone reach out to me and is like, "Hey, can you check for me if this admission letter is legit?" And the simple question I ask is, I cannot, how can I tell? Whoever gave you this admission letter, tell them, ask them that, can I get my, the access to the portal to the school? And you just go and verify yourself, right? Don't just leave everything in the hands of the agent. So if the agent is doing it for you, use your own email, get the notifications, go to the application portal and check and download it yourself, because now in this technology world it's very easy with Photoshop, with Adobe, whatever it is. I can just get an admission letter, remove my name, put somebody's name there and say, "Hey, I
Yeah.
got you an offer to the University of Regina," and you are going to be excited. So that's why I'm using my channel when on TikTok, on YouTube, say, don't pay agents money for things that you can do, because the agents, some of them are genuine, but majority of them are in there just to take your money. So guys, be wary of this. And the advice that he's giving is, whatever it is, whether you are doing it yourself, someone is doing it for you, be actively involved.
Yeah.
Whatever information that is being shared, make sure that it is your information. How can you be born in 1994 and you went to high school in 1997?
Yeah. That lady's
Yeah.
case is really
Yeah.
pathetic. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So
Wow.
now I'm trying to help her. I got an immigration officer who is a
Okay.
regulated immigration consultant.
Mm-hmm.
And the only prayer we are praying is that by the time she gets access to the file, a
Mm-hmm.
decision would not have been taken on
On
that
that one, yeah.
application. Then they can retract it. But if a decision has been taken already, then that's a
Mhm.
different ballgame.
Wow, wow,
Yeah.
wow, wow. All right, so guys, you've had this information. So, at least for those that want to do it themselves, even want to use an agent, what are the two? Because I know that there were also issues where there are some schools that they were not accredited by the
Yes.
federal government.
That's right.
And there were some schools that you can go to, but when you are done, you cannot really stay and work and have permanent residency. That is the DLI, the postgraduate work permit,
Right.
graduation work permit. So, can you just tell us
Yeah.
what should they look out for in the school?
Yeah.
The DLI and the PGWP. What do those things mean?
Sure. So the Canadian government has made things in a way that there are over 200, post-secondary institutions in Canada.
Okay.
Now, some have been designated to have international students.
Okay.
So that is what the designated learning institution means. So it means
Mm-hmm.
there are still schools in Canada here that don't even have the right to host international students.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. Recently, I spoke to a few of those private colleges here, and I wanted to make inquiries, and they told us, yeah, the demands of the government, the standards, the requirements they have to meet is too
Mm-hmm.
hard for them. So that's why they are not able to take international students. So usually, the schools you'll be able to apply to are all designated learning institution. So we don't encounter a lot of problems on that front because
Right.
most of the universities, I can vouch that maybe almost every university in Canada is a designated learning institution. It
Okay.
comes to the colleges, that is where some are not. Right. So when you're applying for a school, you have to, number one, make sure the school is designated, but that is not enough. The dream of every international student is that I will pay this huge sum of money to go and study and try and find my feet in that country.
Right.
So, how am I going to stay in Canada when I graduate? Am I going to just have to come back home? Or what are the ways? So, there are schools, the government has given them the privilege to offer programs that are eligible for what we call post graduation work permit. Post
Okay.
graduation work permit. What that means is that when you study in Canada for a certain period of time in eligible programs or selected programs, after school, you apply for a post graduation work permit, and then you are issued one. If
Mm.
usually your program is 8 months, that is one academic year, you get a post graduation work permit which is valid for 8 months. But
8
if you
months.
do
Okay.
anything which is more than 8 months, then you are likely to get a post graduation work permit which is valid for 3 years. Right. So it's either eight
Wow.
months or 3 years. Right. So
Mm-hmm.
most master's programs, you because you might do it at least in 3 semesters, you'll be eligible for what we are using the word eligible. It's not that you have the right.
Yeah, it's not automatic, but at least
Exactly.
you will be eligible. Okay.
Because you
Okay.
have to meet certain criteria, right? You might have graduated from a designated learning institution, and then the program you did must be eligible for that work permit program.
Mm.
And
Mm.
then immigration will do their own checks, background checks.
Right.
The
Right.
fact that you are in Canada doesn't mean it's automatic you get it. No, they will still do background checks. And if everything goes well and the immigration officer is pleased with your application, then they issue that for you for 3 years. So the idea usually is that, are we on?
Yeah, we're still on.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. The idea usually is that the international student is able to work, gain some Canadian experience. And then during that moment, if the person decides to stay in Canada permanently, then there's that opportunity to apply for a permanent residence. So it's a straightforward path that technically you don't have to pay a dime to anybody. You can go
Okay.
through this all by yourself.
Mm.
However, it's also not wrong using a legitimate agency, because sometimes life happens.
Yeah,
People might have access to information, but understanding the context is
that's
even
right.
difficult.
That's right. That's right.
And I told people on my live someday, I made a big mistake that I didn't know.
Okay.
Right. So when I came to study, the number one mistake I made, well, they all worked out for my good, but
Mm.
if I knew
Uh,
better, I could
You
have
you would
done it
have done it
different.
the other way. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So when I came as a graduate student, I didn't even know that I was eligible to apply for my spouse and my dependents to join me. Right.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't know.
So are you saying that if someone is going to study in Canada,
Yes.
graduate studies, undergraduate, whatever it is, they can bring their spouse and their kids along with them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
That is
wow.
doable. We have requirements you have to meet, but
It's
it's it's
possible. Okay.
it exists for everybody. So for
Wow.
me, because I didn't know, I had to apply for a school for my wife. So my wife also came as a student. So both of
Mm.
us. So usually when you apply as a graduate student, your spouse is given an open work permit with the intention that that person will come work to support you while you are studying, so that you
Okay.
don't worry about studying while
Yeah.
you don't worry about working
Working
while you are
whilst you are
studying.
studying. Okay.
Exactly. So your spouse does that to support you. That's the idea. But
Mm.
here's the case: I didn't know. So both of
Wow.
us were in school,
At
and
the
she
same
got
time.
pregnant along the way. So pregnant mom, pregnant woman with a student, dad, uh, future dad, a student. So we all leave the house. She goes to school. I go to school. No, it was tough,
Mm.
all because I didn't have information.
Wow.
And then the second thing I did, which really, which really was very sad, was that when I finished my second master's, yeah, the master's I came to do, I mentioned that I started a PhD. Now,
Okay.
before I went into the PhD, because you know, when you are studying in Canada, your study permit allows you to work 20 hours, okay, outside
Hmm.
campus. So I had worked alongside studying. So when by the time I graduated, I had a lot of experience in Canada. And then I
Right.
applied for my permanent residence. And then I was called into the Canadian experience class because I had a Canadian work experience.
Experience. Okay.
I waited. Usually, when you put in the application, we got the points needed, and then we got invited to apply. It was exciting.
Mm.
because my wife and myself were going to become permanent residents while I was in school. So the the joy of paying domestic fees alone was so much.
Yeah.
But guess what? When the time was due for me to hear from immigration, I got an email that your application was denied.
Oh my goodness.
Where did I go
Denied.
wrong? Then I
Why?
read and I
Mm.
realized that I had used work experience in Canada, but the work experience in Canada under a study permit does not qualify as work experience.
Oh, can you repeat that? So
So when you are
so to
studying
apply
and
for
you work,
permanent residency, you
yes,
need a work experience.
exactly.
But
You
when you
can
are
use your
studying,
home work
mhm,
experience.
okay.
Then you that will qualify. We don't want to talk about express entry. That's a whole ball
Yeah,
game.
that's another. Yeah.
But I was invited under the Canadian experience because I had added the work I was doing while studying, not knowing that when you're studying, because it's under a study permit,
Hmm.
it doesn't count as work experience
Wow.
to the immigration officer. You pay taxes and everything, all right. But when it comes to immigration, that experience ceases to be an experience.
Hmm. So you need an experience post graduation for it to count.
Exactly. That is where the post graduation work permit comes in.
Okay.
So, because of these two things, I always tell people, guys, information is crucial.
Hmm.
Information is crucial. Information is crucial. So, yeah, those were the two mistakes I did. So, like I said, your spouse and your dependents are eligible to come. So, they will give your dependents visiting visa, and then they will give your spouse an open work permit.
Open
So,
work
when
permit. Okay.
and when their children come, they will enjoy free education just like any Canadian or permanent
Wow.
resident as well. So, yeah,
Free education then no
as
tuition, no fee.
unless the child is going to uh, a daycare. Daycare
Okay.
is paid. Even if
Or
you're a
daycare is
Canadian,
paid.
you
Okay.
pay.
But if they are like maybe kindergarten or
From, yeah, any
elementary
school
school,
going
high
age
school.
till high school, you should be good to go.
Okay. Okay. All right, guys. So this is very good information. Okay. So what he's saying is he made two mistakes. So if you want to go study in Canada, avoid these two mistakes. Mistake number one is if you're already married, you have kids. There is no need having your spouse to also come and study. Your spouse can come with an open work permit, support you through school. When you are done, your spouse can also go to school. Then you can also work and support your spouse. Right? Don't just bring your spouse from school and the two of you are schooling and marrying and giving kids. And
It's a
it's
struggle.
going to be tough.
It's a
It
struggle.
is going to be tough. Because sometimes you're back home. Let me not lie. The system here is quality is improved. However, there are certain things that it doesn't go together. Working and studying, having kids and working and studying, it doesn't go together.
No,
So you need to be strategic.
that's right.
And also with the post graduation work permit, know that you have to have your work experience post graduation to enable you to apply for permanent residency. If you are having work experience
Mhm.
whilst you are schooling, it doesn't count. Right. So, King Joy, the question now is how do I find these schools? Is there a website? Is there a list that I can go to and know that these schools have DLI, these schools have PGWP? Is there any website? How do I find it?
Yeah, yeah. So, the the system here, they don't hide information. They want to make
Okay.
everything clear. So when you just go on Google and you type DLI Canada list, DLI Canada
Canada
list,
list.
it will take you to the official Government of Canada website. You have to
Hmm.
see Government of Canada at the top to authenticate it.
Okay.
All right. So then when you go, you select a province. So you have to know the province in which your institution is, the institution you want to go to. So when you select the province, then there's a filter there. You type the name of your institution, and then when the institution comes up, you will see designated learning institution number.
Hmm.
Then when you go to the far right, you see post graduation work permit eligible. Then they write yes or no. If it is
Okay.
no, it means when you go to that school as an international student, there is
Mm-hmm.
not a single program you do in that school that will allow you to get post graduation work
Post
permit.
graduation work permit. So that means with that you just come to school, you finish, you come back. But if you want to, have a better life afterwards and
Then you have
have
to find
permanent
another
residence
school.
and route, then you okay. Okay.
Yeah, you have to. So, excuse me to say, it could be useless payments, right? So, if you do your research ahead of time, then
Mm.
you'll be able to get to know that this school has a post graduation work eligible, program. Then you just choose from the programs. So, yeah, basically, yeah, the government of Canada has provided a list of every institution that is eligible for these programs. So when you go, yeah, I've seen you've shared the list. Yeah, people should
Yeah,
just go
yeah.
there
So I
and
just
yeah.
I just put it in there, like, so I know a lot of people would always say, I don't know how to go about this, but you are having a smartphone.
Mm-hmm,
Take advantage of it.
mm-hmm.
I remember back in the days when, you know, I mean, smartphone and all those things were not coming out. That was like, um, 2012, 2013, when I graduated from, I wanted to go to school in the UK for my master's. I didn't have like a laptop. I didn't have, a smartphone. I did not have access to internet. So what I was doing is when I go to work, I try to use the internet and I research. And I had to go to this internet cafe in
Internet cafe.
Accra. They call it Busy Internet. That's where I went to
Right,
do,
right,
I went
right.
to do my interview and all that. But now, things have changed. Like things have
Yeah.
changed.
Oh yeah.
Even if you have like 100 cities, you can get a smartphone.
Yeah.
So like you said, just go to Google, type in DLI list, and I share the link in there. You type, even if you don't know, we are going to talk a little bit about the province. What do I need to look out for in the province? But even if you don't have any school in mind, just go to this website. Filter by a province, whether it's Ontario, whether it's Newfoundland, whether it's, Saskatchewan, just filter by, look at the schools, some of the courses. You just go to the school website, look at the courses that are available, and see if you meet the requirements and all that. We'll talk about it here in a little bit. But you mentioned about province.
Mm-hmm.
Based on your experience, right? Is there any, would you classify some province as being more international student friendly compared to others, or would you advise or encourage, um,
Hmm.
you know, s- potential students to go in for certain province, and what should they look out for?
Yeah, that's a tough one, but yes, a lot of things come into play here.
Okay.
So I schooled in Ontario,
Mm-hmm.
the province of Ontario, and I schooled in Ottawa, which is the federal capital
Of Ontario. Okay.
of the country. Like, yeah, that's the national capital of
Okay.
Canada.
Okay.
Now, Ottawa is a beautiful place. It's a big city, but not as big as Toronto, not as big as Montreal, not as big as Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
Cost of living is a bit on the high, but the advantage is that because of the city life, there are a lot of restaurants and grocery shops and other things that international students can easily find some
Access. Okay.
jobs to do.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But the tuition fee in Ontario is ridiculous,
Expensive.
highly expensive. For my third master's, I had to pay 10,000 Canadian dollars every semester. And I did that for 2 years
So that means 40,000
and more.
more.
The 10,000 I said is just flat, right?
Yeah.
How I got that money, nobody should ask me because I have no idea how that happened. So, Ontario is beautiful. It has the city vibe. Everybody want to be in Ontario. But cost of living is high.
Mm.
Tuition fee is crazy. Currently, I just moved last February and I came to Regina, which is the capital of Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan. Okay.
Now, this city, I drive 10 minutes to work, 10 minutes to church, 5 minutes to grocery shops. So everything is close by. Very small.
Mm.
Cost of living, usually in Canada, when we talk of cost of living, it's more about the real estate, housing.
The
There's
housing part. Okay.
exactly food in general, there'll be maybe a few cents difference. But when we talk of housing, for instance, currently, if you want to buy, I'm just using the buy, if you want to buy a 3 bedroom house, a brand new 3 bedroom house in Ontario, maybe Toronto or Ottawa, you are going to pay maybe a minimum of, depending on if it is brand new, you'll be getting 800, 900,000 Canadian dollars.
Wow.
But when you come to Saskatchewan, Regina here, if
Mm-hmm.
you have 350,000 upwards, you should be able to
Can
buy
get
that
a
same
decent
house.
3 bed. Okay. Yeah.
Right. So when it comes to real estate, and maybe, it also boils down to life preferences. There are
Yeah.
people who are just killed by boredom. This city, there's nothing.
There's
People are
no
just
life.
going to work. People are just going to work. People are just going to work, go back home, just like that. But maybe in Ontario, like city like Toronto, you can be in traffic for maybe 2 hours, and that is fun for people. But
Mm-hmm.
here, there's no traffic, right? So
Okay.
a few things to consider. But as an international student, the major thing I would want you to focus on is the tuition. Now, if tuition is your priority, then I'll tell people to look at a place like Newfoundland and Labrador. Memorial University, from experience, they have the lowest tuition fee in the whole of Canada, from
Wow.
experience.
Memorial University. Okay.
Memorial University. It's one of the universities people can check out. Now, some of their programs you can pay as low as 710 Canadian dollars a semester.
Wow. Severe for like how many is it per course or for the
No,
whole
for the
semester?
whole semester,
Okay.
710 Canadian dollars. Not even up to $1,000 a semester.
Wow.
Some of their programs, and that is for an international student I'm talking about, not even
Yeah.
a local or domestic student. And the highest I've seen is around 2,000 Canadian dollars a semester in that school.
I mean,
Though,
compared to you paying 10,000, that is
exactly, exactly. Though some of the programs, they have what they call special fee. Maybe you are paying 710 a semester, but they have a special fee of maybe $6,000, and that $6,000 you pay it once. So it means
okay.
by the time you are done with school, you should have finished paying that money. So in terms
Right.
of tuition fee, I'll be recommending Memorial University. I'll be recommending my university here, University of Regina,
University of Regina. Okay.
because at the master's level, you could get programs that are still paying around 4,000, 5,000 Canadian dollars.
Mm,
And then University of Saskatchewan is also a very good school, but with a very, affordable tuition fee.
right. Okay.
University of Saskatchewan. When you move from the province of Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Newfoundland, and maybe a bit of Alberta,
Mm-hmm.
the other provinces like Ontario, Nova Scotia, yeah, then you are going to pay a minimum of 8,000, 9,000,
10,000.
10,000, you know, yeah. So in terms of province, like I said, lifestyle preferences could inform decisions. But if you're somebody who is just concerned about getting your feet on the ground, starting low, maybe finishing high, then
Mm-hmm.
these
Mm-hmm.
provinces, check them out. The province of Newfoundland and Labrador,
Labrador. Okay.
Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and maybe sometimes Prince Edward Island. But
Islands.
that
Okay.
is, yeah. So, yeah,
Yeah. All right.
if
All right.
you are
Okay.
thinking that way, Ontario and British Columbia, don't tell them I said this. Don't go there because they're very expensive. Very
Expensive. Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's good. So, I mean, at the end, it depends on your preference, whether you want city life or rural life, how much you can afford,
Yeah.
and all of that. But I know there are the provinces which is like maybe back in Ghana is like the regions, or in America the
Exactly.
states also.
Right.
I know there are some too that speak French and all that. Can you elaborate a little bit more so that people can know? I mean, if they want to go into any French speaking province and things like that.
Yeah. So far in Canada, the province that is fully French is Quebec. Quebec.
So if you say fully French, it means
It's a
The only
French province.
language there is
Yeah, the
French.
official language there is French.
Official, okay.
Yes, official language, and that is the language people use all the time. Though you have people speaking English and other languages, but officially, that is the only province that is francophone, French.
So even their universities, everything is in French.
Yes, you can have courses in English.
Right.
Some programs are taken in English, but
Okay. Okay.
on like maybe 95, 98% of the programs are in French. So that is Quebec. And then when you a province like New Brunswick, they have a French side. That is the side of New Brunswick that is closer to the border of Quebec. They are French. And then they have the English side.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But officially, it looks like it's bilingual,
Bilingual. Okay.
just
Okay.
like Ontario,
Right.
right? Ontario is bilingual as well. The rest should all be Anglophones. Yes, all the other provinces should be English speaking.
Right. 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 Okay.
Quebec is the place that is when you go, you know that if you want to work in a place, you need at least a fair knowledge in French.
In Quebec. Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's good information. So, guys, if you are just joining us, we are talking about studying in Canada. Pro tips for international students. We want to make sure that whatever dream you have for 2024 to study in Canada, you have the right information. We want to talk about funding and because you are mentioning 10,000, like how you even going to go through the application, how can I afford and all that. But I've also had so many questions that
Mhm.
I'm too old, I'm mature. What do I go for a master's? Do I do like I don't I completed high school a long time ago. Should I go for a bachelor's 4 years or is there something in between? So I mean what are some of the options available? Like, for anyone that wants to study in Canada, what are some of the options that are available?
Yeah, so we have definitely the bachelor's degree, which you're going to do
Okay.
for 4 years. I don't recommend this to anybody except you are coming from a very rich background. I say this because the minimum tuition fee, even Memorial University, that is very cheap. All the
Affordable, yeah.
things I said are for
Mm-hmm.
the graduate school.
Okay.
When you come back to the bachelor's, you'll be paying a minimum 11 to 12,000 Canadian dollars a semester
Wow.
every 4 months. Yes. So we have the bachelor's degree. And when you go to Ontario, it's ridiculous 16,000, 18,000, 20,000 a semester, depending on the program in school. Right. So the bachelor's is there. Then we have what we call diplomas. Okay. In the colleges, you can come and do a 2 year diploma. You can come and do a 1 year diploma, depending on what you can afford. Right. So that
Mm-hmm.
is that. And then in the colleges, we also have what we call the graduate certificate. Now, the graduate certificate is usually for people who have completed their bachelor's degree, all right, but maybe either they are not competitive enough for the master's degree.
Okay.
The graduate certificate is the place you can find leverage, all
So if
right,
you say competitive, is it like
in
because
terms
I've
of
also had people
GPA,
like, oh, I had a third class or I have a lower, can I get a school? Like, would you recommend that for them or?
yes. So if you have maybe a lower 2.5,
Mhm.
upwards, you
Okay.
should still be eligible for most of the graduate certificate programs.
Okay.
All right.
That's
Yeah. But if you want a master's program, usually the cutoff point for all the schools is 3.0 on a scale of 4.
3.0 on
On
a
a scale
four.
of
Okay.
4. Yes.
Okay.
So if you don't have that, you can go to and the graduate certificate is not inferior. It is just that it is more professional oriented. Okay. More professional oriented. Uh, for instance, at the graduate certificate level, you have programs like project management, you have programs like human resources management, maybe cyber security, data analytics. Uh, in the sciences, we have like digital health, autism, and
Hmm.
behavioral sciences. You can get all these programs at the graduate certificate level,
Okay.
right? And then the diploma level, you can get maybe continuing care assistant programs. You can get, uh, early childhood and development, tons of programs, tons of
Right.
programs in the schools. And then you come to the master's level. And then in the master's, you can either do a thesis route or a coursework route. But if you are somebody who is interested in funding, then make sure your master's is a thesis route, because
Okay.
you will not be given scholarship just to come and study and go. You are given a
Hmm.
scholarship to contribute to knowledge, which is
Okay.
research.
Like project. So a project work, you need to
Exactly.
have a master
Exactly.
that has projects. Okay.
Exactly. So if you are somebody looking for funding, and those funding, they come in the form of research assistantship or teaching assistantship. All right.
Hmm.
And then we have the entrance scholarship. The entrance scholarship. Uh that one you don't apply. You don't apply. When you make an application to a program of study, they
Mm-hmm.
just look at your CGPA. Usually it's 3.5 upwards to qualify for an entrance scholarship.
Scholarship.
All
Okay.
right. So
Okay.
yeah, and then we have the PhD. Now, with the PhD, I usually tell people, even if the school doesn't tell you that you need a professor before you can apply, I encourage people to reach out to potential supervisors. Just introduce themselves to them, create that rapport,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes those people could put a word in for you when the
Yeah.
admission committee meets, or if that person even has funding and you come on board and you do something in his field,
Mm.
you could get funding. All right. So yeah, basically, these are the options available.
Options available
Yeah.
for funding. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then
So
yeah, to study.
yeah.
And there are some high schools that also take people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. There are some high schools. So I know currently in my province there's one French high school that has an international student cohort. I don't know
Wow.
how much it costs, but it's
Right.
something I'm trying to find out. But yeah, there's a possibility to do that. But I don't know why you would want to come here for a high school though. But yeah.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much. So guys, that's an amazing tip that if you want funding for your masters level program, then look for a school. I mean, look for a program that has the thesis option,
That's right.
because usually you have like maybe an MA with thesis or an
That's right.
MSc with thesis,
That's right.
and then some two are just like MA coursework, right?
Right.
So look for the ones that say maybe MA project work or
That's right.
MA with thesis.
That's
That way
right.
you can apply for funding. And and
Hmm.
and, and you also made a very interesting point that if you have like a lower, or your class is not so strong, he would urge you towards getting like a postgraduate certificate
That's
course
right.
rather than going into the masters. The masters is like from 3.0 and up. It's competitive. So anything below that, just try to aim for a postgraduate and all that. And so what about those that they consider themselves like mature student? Maybe they completed a bachelor's degree 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 15 years. I mean, can they also come straight to the masters, or they should also go through the graduate certificate?
So that is a tricky one. Now, options exist if if the educational gap is too long. Sometimes it affects your chances in admission,
Okay.
especially if it is beyond 10 years. And I know even some schools, some colleges, if you have been home for more than 7 years, they will not give you admission. That exists.
Hmm.
However, some schools will just want to see what you've done in that gap, whether after school, what did you do?
Okay.
If you are able to show maybe that you've been working in a specific field continuously. So this one, it's dependent on each school. There is no general rule. Some schools will accept. They even have programs for mature, like route for mature students.
For students. Okay.
Exactly. Others will also say, for the schools who are saying that somebody has been home for too long, it was later on that I did the research and I realized that those schools are doing that because, according to them, from experience and from their observation, usually if people have been home for too long after school, when they give them admission, the chances of those students not getting their study permit were high.
Hmm.
But my question to them was, were those people denied because of that, or maybe they didn't have the right documents for the visa?
Document.
So
Okay.
usually other schools don't really care. As long as you meet the demands, the qualification, they are
Mm-hmm.
good. You write a very good statement of purpose, statement of
Purpose, yeah.
intent, and
Mm-hmm.
your CGPA is good. I think those people, yeah, they are okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right. Yeah. All right. That's very very good piece of information. So we'll take questions and so I know there are some questions that will get into the end. We are going to highlight it. So you talked about statement of purpose and all that. So now I've been able to find a school. I know that okay, this is how much it costs. I might or I may not get a scholarship. Right. We'll talk about how to get proof of funds for applying study permit and all that. But the question that I want to ask is what type of documents do I need to apply for a program, whether it's masters or postgraduate certificate? What do I need?
So usually, let me take it from the master's level.
Okay.
At the master, so okay, maybe why not starting from the bachelor's? Let's say you are done with SHS and you want to come and do your bachelor's degree here. You will need your WASI certificate and the results. You will need, if you are coming to do the bachelor's, you need your passport. And so usually the WASI, you upload the result, all right, but the school will write back to you and ask you to send them a scratch card from WAEC so that they can
Oh,
verify your results.
okay.
So
Right.
yeah, the
Yeah.
school will get a scratch card. So you need your WASI certificate, you need a CV or resume, then you need your passport. That is the bachelor's level.
Okay.
You need your passport. And yeah, any if maybe after SHS you did some post-secondary education, then you will have to provide the transcript and certificate for that program. Even though you are still applying for a bachelor's, they will
Bachelor's.
still
Okay.
need to have access to all such information. And then at
Mhm.
the graduate certificate level, if you're applying for a graduate certificate program, in general, you need your transcript, you need your certificate or degree,
Mhm.
you need your resume, CV, then you need a passport.
Passport. Okay.
These are the four things for the graduate certificate. But if you go into the master's or the
Mhm.
PhD, then
Mhm.
it becomes another level. So you need your transcript, you need your certificate or degree, you need your resume. Then, in addition, you need a statement of purpose. Some call
Okay.
it statement of intent.
Yeah.
And other schools, aside the statement of purpose, if it is a research based program, they will ask
Mhm.
you for a research proposal. That
Okay.
is to
So
talk about
so
your area of
that's the
interest.
one that helps you with the funding, right? The one with the
Yes,
CV. Okay.
yes. And then you equally need minimum two recommendations. So the maximum three, minimum two.
Two.
But you don't go to your school to get those letters. You provide the information of the people who are going to
Mhm.
do the recommendation, and then the school here will send them a form to fill out.
Fill out.
So,
Okay.
back in the days, we had to go to the department, then they'll charge you some money, and
Yeah.
then they
Yeah.
will print it out. No, right now, schools don't do that. It's all more digital. So they will
Yeah.
send a form to the referee, and then the referee will have to. So they don't need any intermediary. It
You're
should be
right.
a direct thing. So
Yeah.
at the graduate level, these are the things you will
Hmm.
need.
Yeah. And I mean probably they're also doing that just to eliminate all those kind of fraudulent,
Yeah,
because I
yeah,
mean someone can just take a friend's letter of recommendation that was given by the lecturer and just edit it. So
that's
okay,
right.
okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. So I mean you talked about the statement of purpose and all these things. So I think my advice will be if you know you want to pursue further studies, especially like the masters and PhD,
Yeah,
where you need a letter of recommendation, at least now is the time for you to start rebuilding your connections with your lecturers. It's very difficult back home in Ghana, right? Trust me, in the US or in Canada, the lecturer doesn't even need to know you. All they need is your student ID and they will gladly help you out. But I know that if you are back home, Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, the lecturers will even say, I don't know you, were you in my class? And because I hear people, you go for a letter of recommendation, they'll ask you, are you in my class? Were you in my class?
Mm.
And the question is like, I mean, why would I come to you
If
for a
I
letter
know.
of recommendation if I was not in your class? You know, and I know there will be a lot of challenges. So this is the time, if you know you have the plan to pursue it, just start re-establishing your connections back on campus. If you know of your friend that is now a lecturer or some, just start so that you avoid all that delays. Because if you're applying and they are waiting on a letter of recommendation and it's not ready, then they might probably put you on the sidelines. So typically, how long does it take to hear back from the school in terms of the admission decision?
For bachelor's degree, usually, depending on the school, you could do maybe between 6 to 14 weeks or 9 to 14 weeks for the bachelor's degree. Sometimes it could be longer, sometimes it could be shorter. Graduate certificates between 6 and 8 weeks, or sometimes between 2 and 6 weeks,
Hmm.
depending on the volume they are treating. But
Okay.
when you come to the master's and the PhD, you're looking at months, right? So, for instance, if you put your application in, let's say September this year,
Right.
you should be hearing from the schools sometime around March, April, May.
Hmm.
Yeah, so by May, if you've not heard from them, then you have to do a follow up. So usually,
Wow.
because applications will close somewhere in February, some will say January 31st, some will say December 1st or December 31st. So those who have a closing date, so they will wait for the admissions to close before they start issuing
Before we
the
start
letters.
issuing the
Exactly. So
admission.
that's
Okay.
why it takes that time. But for the graduate certificate, it's like, pa, 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 then we go.
Everything moves fast. Okay. And
Yes.
and and are there different admission cycles? Like, do you have maybe
Yes.
summer cycle,
Yeah.
fall, and all that? Are there different
So
admission cycles?
we have the winter cycle, which is in January, and then we have the, like you rightly said, the spring or summer
Mhm.
session, which is in May, and then we have the fall session, which is in September.
Right. Right.
So if you want to come to school 2024 September, this is the time you do your application. Now, because of the study permit process, they always want to do applications or admissions 1 year ahead
1 year
to
ahead.
give you
Okay.
ample time to
Mm.
prepare and also apply for your study permit. So right now, the applications, some still have the May applications open, but that's just a few. But
Right.
majority of the applications that are opened are for September
September,
2024.
September 2024. Okay, all
Yeah,
right, yeah. So guys, it's a lot of information that is going on, and this video is going to be available on this channel, and I encourage you, if you are new, just go ahead and subscribe to our channel. You can always come back and watch it. And so you mentioned about
right.
study permit. So if you say study permit, what exactly are we talking about?
All right. So I will repeat this. Please, anything I say, because this has to do with immigration, anything I say is not to address any specific concern or situation of anybody, but it's general information. All
Hmm.
right. And so, study permit, as the name suggests, is a permit to study, a permit that allows you to study in any given country. So, in Canada, if you are not a Canadian, if you are not a permanent resident or a refugee or anybody who is in Canada, the status that allows you to study in Canada is called a study permit. And that is different from a visa. Okay. It's different from a visa. So let's not mix the two up.
Mm,
Now,
okay.
when you are applying for a study permit and you get it, the immigration will give you a visa to travel to Canada. Then, when you get to Canada at the port of entry, being at the airport, or if you drove, or if you use the boat or whatever, at the port of entry, the immigration will issue you your study permit. So the
Hmm.
study permit is a status, but the visa is a travel document. You cannot use the study permit to travel by air,
Mm,
but you can use it to travel when you are driving across.
okay.
So for me, if I have a study permit, I can drive to the US and come back even if I don't have a visa. I can show my study permit at the
Permit
port of entry. But
entry.
if I
Okay.
go to the US and I enter any other country apart from the US and
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming back, I cannot return to Canada with a study
Mm.
permit.
Wow. You need a
If I
visa.
exactly, if I fly, I cannot use the study permit. All right. It's
Okay.
only when you're driving that you can use the study. So the study permit is not a travel document. Just that in some, like I just gave, in some circumstances, it could be used. So the travel document, the thing that allows you to come to Canada and leave Canada, as and when you want, is the visa the immigration officer will issue you in your home country.
Right.
And then when you get to the port of entry, immigration will. So the study permit shows your status. It is the study permit you will use to apply for your uh, social insurance number. It's your study permit you will use to anything that you want to. If you want to work, is the study permit that you use as a proof of your status. All right. So that is what a study permit is.
Okay, okay. So now at least we've searched for our schools. We've been able to apply for school. We were able to get funding, or we did not get funding. The next step is to get the study permit,
That's
and
right.
you get a study permit, you will be issued a visa to travel, right? So
Exactly.
what goes into the study permit? How do I even apply for it? What do I need to be able to apply for the study permit? How and where do I apply for it?
Yeah. So the study permit application can be done either in the paper format or online. But I encourage anybody here to use the online because you're able to track your application, the status. Whereas when you do the paper application, you are limited in some of these things. You are just there
Okay.
hoping that something will fall from the sky, right?
Right.
Unfortunately, my time I did a paper application because I didn't know even anything online existed, right?
Oh wow. Wow.
It was that bad, right? Yes, because I had no information. I did everything like by myself.
Mm.
And I remember I saw the online option, but I
Hmm.
wasn't used to online stuff. So I was like, no, 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 I want to go and see the people. You know, that's why I did the paper version.
That's
I
why
want
the
to go talk to
paper.
human beings. I want to talk to human beings, not computer. I didn't know that the online was more advantageous, right? So
Mhm.
you go on the Immigration Canada's website, and then first thing is you create an account. Now, once you create the account on the website, you go inside that account, then there'll be a tab there that says apply to come to Canada to study, visit, or something like that. When you click on
Mhm.
that, it's going to ask you eligibility questions. So when you finish answering all those questions, a checklist will populate in your account. The forms you have to fill and the documents you have to provide.
Okay.
So when you're applying for a study permit, major documents that you will need: one, your letter of admission from the school. Number two, your passport.
Mm.
Number three, then you will need your bank statement, which is the biggest deal.
The bank
Okay,
statement. How
yes,
much? How much? Okay, we'll come to
yeah.
that, but
So
yeah. Okay.
passport, letter of acceptance, bank statement. Then you write a letter of explanation or a study plan. But in the portal, you will not see anything there called study plan. It will just be, they will write, there's another form, they will say it's optional, but you have to write it. If you don't write it, you could be refused based on that, in as much as
Okay.
they say it's optional, right? So you have to write a study plan. Now, the study plan basically is you telling the immigration officer that I want to come to Canada to this school to do this program for these reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And after my study, this is what I think I'll benefit from the study. And this is how the program is going to help me come back home and support, you know, my
My home
country.
country.
You
Yeah.
have to say
Okay.
that, though
Mm.
we all know what happens
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
afterwards. But you have to show, you should be able to convince the immigration officer that after studying, you're coming back home, right? So those are the major. major things that you need. But like I said, I don't have to say these things. As soon as you answer all the eligibility questions, all the documents will pop up for you. So you don't have to think outside the box. But as you are preparing your letter of admission, bank statement, your passport, the study plan, these are things you have to make sure you have them available. And then the forms you have to fill, usually there are 2 or 3 forms that you have to
Mm-hmm.
fill.
Fill
Immigration will
out.
provide those forms for you to fill out.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I just went to the study, the Canada government. They said they've uploaded a new version for the study permit.
Yeah.
Is there any unique changes, or is all to
I
align
have.
to the new policies?
Yes. I think it's just because of the new policies. I've personally, since its inception, I have not f- filled it out for
Yeah,
anybody yet.
because it's new. Yeah, I just started like
Yeah.
two days ago. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So I've not taken a look, but I know they are making changes. And it is also because if people are not reading
hmm
and people have already sent them the old
the
templates
old one.
straight up, they know
You
that
you're
you.
just going to be denied. Okay.
So you see, the government, I can tell you when you read the articles, they all acknowledge the massive role international students play in Canada. This
Yeah,
is not a secret.
yeah,
From the
yeah.
amount of tuition fees we pay, all the way to helping increase the labor force, international students play a key role, such a key role in Canada.
Mm.
But they want to make sure people come actually to come and study, because when you study, technically you are being built to fit into the system. So you can also contribute to the development of the nation. That's why they are taking such serious measures to make sure that people who come here to study actually come to study. Yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah, there's definitely a
and not
new
just try to come
template.
and take advantage of the system. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm. That's awesome. So I know you talked about the bank statement, and also how much do I need to show as proof of funds, and should it be my own money? Do I have to pay the fees before I can get, apply for the study permit? What information do you have regarding the proof of funds?
Yeah, for the proof of funds, there are certain things I cannot say online, but the
Okay.
ones I can say online is because that one, even the schools will provide you with that information
hmm
indirectly. So for your proof of funds, technically, what you're looking out for is your 1 year tuition fee, the sum of your 1 year tuition fee, and then personal expenses, which is pegged at 15,000 Canadian dollars. All right. So let's say the program you're going to do one semester is 10,000 Canadian dollars.
Right.
So in your bank statement, they should be able to see 20,000 Canadian dollars plus 15,000 Canadian dollars of personal, living expenses, depending on your province, right? It could range between 10 and 15,000. So you're
hmm
looking at maybe 30,000 Canadian dollars more. And usually it's stated that they need a bank statement of 4 months. So why are they
Okay.
saying that? They want to see the account activity,
Right.
how the flow of money. So if you're somebody who does lump sum deposit, some people just go and borrow money. These are things I am not allowed to talk about, but yeah, you
Okay.
have to make sure there's a flow of money, consistent flow of money, and make sure that the flow of money has sources. All right. So if you are depositing money in your account, make sure there's a description. Where is that money coming from?
Coming from, is it your
Right.
salary? Is it okay?
Exactly. So always make sure any money going into your account, there's a description. You can use your personal account if you have the means. You can also use a relative's account, but they have to write a letter in support of that. And what
Okay.
other people have done is that they open a bank account in Canada and then they transfer their fees into that
Into
amount. For
that.
that, usually they know that you can have access to that money because the money is in Canada, right?
Wow.
So
Wow.
that helps a lot. And then Uh, Minim ɔmo a ɔmo tie me na mepɛ sɛ me switch code ne kakra.
Mm-hmm,
Uh,
mm-hmm.
Sɛ nipa na a ɔma wo bank statement no, sɛ ɛyɛ business account a, ɛwɔ sɛ nipa no de saa business no document ɛka ho. Nti ebi ma wɔ hɔ a yɛrefuse ɔmo, not because ɛna sika ni account nim, but
But
wɔde ebi a
mm-hmm.
Appear Incorporated and a matro letter account sɛ me na meyɛ owner of Appear Incorporated, blah blah. But there's no documentation. I trust a company near media.
Mm.
It
Okay.
also the company or business document na supported the bank statement.
Right.
Now, so we use investment account. We all know say investment now. Usually you can access it at specific times. If
Yeah.
you are using an investment account, there should be a letter, bank number account, say, oh, this account can be liquidated.
Yeah.
I'll
Maybe.
be access at any time. Until there's
Yeah.
a certain level of flexibility. I was adding. So
That's right.
if you see any of uh, these categories of account, also making sure that the documentation is tight, and yes, they will come back with generic answers. Say you don't have
Mm-hmm.
sufficient funds. So back on maybe I will can't credit them no. It doesn't change what they're asking for, but they will tell
Yeah.
you say you don't have sufficient funds. And yes, you don't have sufficient funds, but they know say sikane gum no, you are not showing the right source or untiminya access to the money when you need it.
Access to it. Okay.
It's
Okay. Okay.
these are that's why I had
Yeah.
to now say Mr.
Yeah.
Sanko no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
But that's very good. So basically, you need like your first year tuition plus anywhere between 10,000 to 15,000 Canadian
yes,
dollars. The
yes, as
personal
personal
expenses.
expense.
So
Exactly.
okay. Okay. And also don't just create an account today and tomorrow there is 50,000 Canadian dollars in there to apply because like where did this money come from? So it has to be a bank account that is showing a steady flow of income. If it's your dad that is
Exactly.
giving to you, let your parent write that, oh, this is a gift or to support
Mhm.
the school.
That's right.
This is
That's right.
salary coming from your company. At least it
That's
has to
right.
be genuine, right? So that's all that he's
Yes.
saying, that you cannot just conjure things, and because you are submitting the document, you submit it online and they'll review it. They don't have time to ask you way for him, way, right. So just make sure that the bank statement itself is self-explanatory.
That's right.
Right. If you want further information, you can connect backstage, and then we can provide a lot of details, but at least the bank statement should be a minimum of 4 months or 6 months actively running, not just 1 month and you send it. And you have to have your first year of tuition plus the personal expenses, which is anywhere between 10,000 to 15,000, 15,000 Canadian dollars. So that is very good information. And you talked about the letter of explanation. I think that also confuses people because they also call it the personal statement or statement of purpose, and people think that it's going to be the same. Is it the same as what they used to apply for the school, or
No,
this one? Okay.
this is different. So, like I said, for this, what you're trying, the other one, you were telling the school the essence of that program to your life. That is
Mm-hmm.
your academic career, your academic and career goals. But we know you are convincing immigration officer and say, near me, or my brother, now at this
Yeah.
point in my life, this is what I need. And
Right.
because of this need, I realize Canada for this and that reason is the best place for me to study.
Mm.
Now, then after studying, this is what I intend to achieve from my
Mm-hmm.
studies. And
Mm-hmm.
these are the ingredients I'm bringing back home to
Mm.
support the development of my country.
That's right. That's
So
right.
it's called, they call it study plan. So you can even say my program is for 2 years. I'll spend the first year doing coursework, the second year maybe writing my thesis, and after my thesis, after graduation, I am coming back home to support this sector of my economy. You have to be convincing. It's not so. My time it was called study plan, so it's more
Study
like a
plan.
plan,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
But it should be very convincing.
Okay, okay, yeah. So that's the information that is scrolling right there. I mean, it's called different things, but it's the same thing. Study plan, letter of explanation, statement of
Yes.
purpose,
Yes.
whatever it is. But pretty much all that says that you need to explain to the visa officer why you want to study in Canada, your goals for studying in Canada, what you are going to do each semester, each year, and also you understand your responsibilities as a student. So include this in your application, even though you go to the portal, it will say optional, but it is not as optional as
As you
the,
think,
yeah, as
exactly.
you think. It is a must that you have to include it. So yeah, we'll be taking questions here in a little bit. But from your experience, you talked about agents or doing it yourself. At least from this point, you know that if you are doing it yourself, it is not impossible. You just have to connect with people, ask questions, clarify. When I was also going to study in the UK, I asked questions. I did it myself. I connected to some people that were already there, and I had the full funding through the Commonwealth Share Scholarship, which is currently open. Is going to end, I think December 14th is the deadline, right?
Uh,
I did it myself. The visa application, I did it myself. The school application, the scholarship application, but it's time, like you said, it's time consuming. It can take you, if you want to go to school, you don't just use 1 day or 2 months or 1 month. It can take anywhere between 3 to 6 months of actively dedicating yourself, researching the school, researching the courses, because not every course that you just have to do. If you want to stay in Canada, if you want to stay in the US, know that, okay, is this course relevant? How much is this course even going to afford me? So at least you know that it is time consuming, but it's not that it's not impossible. But if you want to use an agent, personally, I know people that do it, right? And I know you're also doing it. People charge $5,000 US dollars, 10,000 Canadian dollars, and all that. So let's say someone says, I really want to go to school, but I don't have that time. But I want to also invest my time and resources. If they come to you, how much should they expect to pay?
for my consults, for everything that we're going to do, we charge only 1,000 Canadian dollars. And then the 1,000, I understand the situation back home. So I
Hmm.
don't take it at a go. I split it into 700 to start the process, and then once we get you admission, you pay 300, and then we start helping you with the visa. And if you're fortunate and the school you're coming, we have students there already. I usually arrange for airport pickups, and then sometimes my students can host you, temporarily for a week or two before you find your feet. But I don't charge apart from anything we are charging is for the admission. Because I'm not a regulated immigration consultant, I don't charge for the visa thing.
Okay.
Students bring their own documents, but I walk them through every step of the way.
Hmm.
But I charge not a dime because I am not a regulated immigration. I have friends here who are regulated. If you get your school and you want them to do just the visa for you, at least you pay 1,500 Canadian dollars, just the visa. That is because you are coming through me. If you go by yourself, you could be paying all the way up to 3,500 Canadian dollars just for the visa application. And you still provide your own documents, right? It's not like they are going to provide any documents for you. So,
Hmm.
and then in Ghana, those who claim more Bayer documents, then they'll be charging like 7,500 Canadian dollars upwards,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
So,
That's
but
it.
for us, it's just like I said, I've been telling you, I'm not doing this for the money. I only started charging because I registered the business and I took employees. I had to pay them. At
Yeah.
first, from 2014 all the way to 2021, I was doing it for free. I actually started charging in 2022. Yeah,
Wow. So
because I have
just
employees.
yeah, just 1,000 Canadian dollars for
That's all we take.
from A to Z, the
A to Z. That's
visa,
all we take.
study permit, everything, 1,000 Canadian
We
dollars.
don't take anything more. But if
Wow.
people are not fortunate and they come maybe next year, if I
Hmm.
become regulated, then they are dead.
I mean, yeah, this is because this is peanuts. just to put in the context of how much other people are
Oh
charging.
yeah.
At least
Oh
you've
yeah.
been, those of you that have been watching us from the beginning, we've talked about the process. It's time consuming, and I mean, I would strongly encourage you that if you are interested and you want to go through someone, don't look any further. Don't look any further. So how can people get in touch? What website? Do you have a website? Is there a
Yeah,
phone number? What can they do?
we have a website. So when you go on our website, www.kgaeducationconsult.com, if you can help me with that, yeah,
Okay, yeah, I'll try to get it right now.
kgaeducationconsult.com. Yeah. Now, once you get on that website, to your extreme right, top corner, you see expression of interest. Let me know when you are on the site. Then, yeah,
Okay, yeah.
at the top corner, you see expression of interest. Now, when you click on that button, it's going to open a Google form. That is what we use for screening. So you provide all the information we request for, and then we
Hmm.
do our own background, checking your GPA and your program and all that. If we are convinced that we can work with you based on the information you provide, that means what you provide is crucial because our assessment is based
Hmm.
on what you tell us. All right. So if we do the
Yeah.
screening and we are convinced we can work with you, then we send you an email that, hey, we've reviewed your application and we think we can work with you. And if you confirm your interest, then I do a video call one on one like this, one on one video call with you. Then uh,
Hmm. Hmm.
after, we that is where we talk about the process, the package, and everything. Then afterwards, if you feel you're good to go, we have a contract, very detailed contract, about 2 or 3 pages, detailed contract. You read, you understand, you sign, you make your payment, and then yeah, we start the process.
Okay,
And then we
that's
have
awesome.
4 WhatsApp groups. So the first WhatsApp group is when you become an applicant. That is when we start the school process. So as soon as we get your admission, we move you to the visa application group where I do webinars for them on how to apply for the visa and all that. Then once you get your visa, I move you to Welcome to Canada page. That is where I talk to people about their travel, the things they need, the information they need before they come. And then we have the KGA network. That is for all my students who have come to Canada. That is where I post job opportunities. Maybe if I want to do a webinar on cover letters, anything that is in
Hmm.
Canada, anything that concerns your stay in Canada. If you need assistance,
Yeah.
that's where we interact. So yeah, basically that's
Wow.
that.
Wow. I mean, so they are just paying 1,000 Canadian dollars for all these services. There are no hidden fees. There are no things in the fine print. Wow.
So yeah, let me make this clear before people say those were hidden fees. Now you pay your own application fee. Each school has an
Okay.
application fee. Yeah, right.
Hmm.
So I have to make it, evidence. So
Right.
whatever you
Okay.
pay us
Okay.
is our service fee is different. So if you want, we don't add it to the service fee because some people say, "Oh, I want to try 3 schools."
Yeah. You cannot do that. that's
Exactly.
that's like
So
$300 gone.
yes. So
Yeah.
for us, if you want to do 10 schools, you will pay each
By
school. We'll do
yourself.
the application for you, but we will not charge you any extra for doing one application or 10 applications. But we don't include application fee to our charges. So yes, and
Wow.
then your visa fee you pay it by yourself as well. We don't pay your
Okay.
visa fee.
Okay.
I think it's around 280 something Canadian dollars. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's amazing. And yeah, we are going to be taking questions shortly. But I think one key thing or one question that people want to ask is proof of English proficiency. Do people need an IELTS, or is there another way to go around it? Be
So
it
for
for the
me,
school application or for the visa and all that.
yeah, yeah. So for the school application, about 98 to 99% of the schools in Canada, if you are coming from an English speaking country where English language was the language of instruction,
Hmm.
they waive the English test proficiency. They
Okay.
waive it for you. Some schools will, for instance, right now, Memorial University, if it is graduate school, they will ask you to get a proficiency letter from your academic institution that, hey, you did everything in English, then you just upload it. So you don't have to write the test. Some
Yeah.
schools will
Yeah.
say, oh, maybe because of this very program, regardless, we still need you to write. But proficiency is really, there are so many schools who don't require it from Anglophones. So it's not something to worry about.
Mm. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So pretty much you can use your get a letter of English proficiency from your
Even that
university
is
and
just a few of the
yeah.
schools. The rest, you
Okay.
don't need to, you just have to state that I am from an English speaking country, or I did my previous education fully in an English speaking country.
Okay.
Once you
Yeah.
select that, it is waived.
Okay. And also when applying for the study permit, you don't need
You don't need
IELTS.
the
You
proof.
don't need
No.
that. Okay.
However, when you come here and it's time for you to apply for permanent residence,
Mm-hmm.
even if you did your 500 PhDs in Canada, you still write an English test.
Oh wow. Even though you have been in Canada, you've
Yes.
studied, when you
Yes.
apply, they will wow.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we need to have a special session for after you graduate, like all the
Yeah.
things, because
Yeah.
this is mind blowing that
Yeah.
you stayed in Canada, schooled in Canada, master's, PhD,
They
whatever,
don't
you
care.
still
You
need
still,
IELTS for
and if you
immigration
write
purpose.
it and it expires in 2 years, so if after 2 years you still don't have your permanent residency, you have to write it again because according to them, your language proficiency has expired.
Okay, okay.
It's
All right,
interesting.
awesome, awesome, awesome. That's amazing. Okay. So we'll be taking questions. If you have any question, drop it in the comment section. If you're on TikTok, just ask your question. Studying in Canada, we are sharing all the tips for international students. Someone is saying that my IELTS exam is expiring in February 2023. Is it allowed for to apply for study permit? And I think you just answered that you don't need
Yeah.
IELTS for study
No.
permit. Okay.
No.
All right. So Dream 23, you don't need an IELTS for study permit. Let's see. We had some questions over here. I know I saw a question. Someone was saying, okay, yeah, I. So that's the question. I hold a master's degree in nursing. Can I apply for postgraduate diploma program?
Yes, you can apply. However, they will not be basing their admission decision on your master's degree. If it is a graduate diploma, they will base the admission decision on your bachelor's degree.
On your
Or
bachelor's
maybe
degree?
if you did HND, that's okay. So yeah, Abigail Domankrala. Ah, this name there, I know her.
It sounds
That's
familiar.
oh yeah, yeah, I know Abby. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay, okay, all right.
yeah. So
So
Abby, yeah,
Abigail,
yes, you can, but the decision will be based on your bachelor's degree, not your master's degree. So
know
if
your
your
master's.
bachelor's is not too old, then we stand a chance. Yes,
Okay, okay, okay. All right. So Abigail, that's if you have a master's degree in nursing, you apply, but the decision will not be based on your master's degree, but everything on your bachelor's. Okay.
yes,
And I also have someone asking any info about USask, right? I believe University of Saskatchewan.
right. I
I'm not
think I
sure what
already
kind of
spoke
degree,
about that.
but do you have
Yeah, so
anything? Yeah.
there's nothing special about it, unless maybe the question should be specific, right? If you say any info, yeah, it's a university in Saskatchewan, so
Right.
they have one of the lowest tuition fees as well. It's a beautiful campus, very big. So I'm not sure what specific info the person needs. That's
Mhm.
a bit vague. Yeah,
Yeah.
if I have to put it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. There might be a question popping up. Oh no, I think okay. This one, are you? I mean, this the apply board. I know some people use apply board to look for schools. Would you recommend that?
Yeah, it's legit. Yeah, apply board is legit, and yeah, it works perfectly. So yeah, I have no reservations about that.
About
Yeah,
that,
people can
okay.
use it. Yes,
Yeah. And would this be a best email if they want to reach you? Or
yes. This is my organizational email. So definitely, yeah.
Mhm.
If they want to, but if they want to reach our consult, I recommend, because this will go to my personal consult email, which I use it for, let's say, official duties. So
Okay.
give them a kgeducationconsult at gmail.com.
KGA.
Yeah,
Okay, let's see.
yeah, the KG, the
KGA.
same KG education consult, but this one at gmail.com. That
Okay,
is where
education
my team will attend to you, take you through
what
the
ten? Okay.
process. Yes,
All right. So guys, if you want to get in touch, KG Education Consult at gmail.com.
that's right.
There's also a phone number on there. Can I share that one as
Is
well?
it the Ghana number?
It's a 02, yeah, 0243 711
Yes,
0275.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right. And this is the website. Like I say, just go to the website. It's going to be pretty straightforward. To the right hand top corner, you are going to see expression of interest. Expression of interest. Okay. I believe okay, that's the phone number on WhatsApp, or you can call. It's a Ghana number. Abigail came back and said, had my bachelor's degree in 2016. Had my bachelor's degree in
2016.
2016.
Yeah, Abby, I think we should be
So,
good. Yeah, 2016, that's like 7 years ago. Yeah, yeah, I think we should be
mhm,
good. Yeah, we should be good.
right.
Yeah, Abby, we should be good. But Abby, you don't come to me, or if you come me, I can't charge you. What kind of life is that? She knows it. She
All right.
knows when she
Okay.
comes, I can't charge her because that's my best buddy's sister. So,
Oh, okay.
but
Okay.
I'll close my
Abi, I
eyes and
know
charge her.
King George will not charge you, but just give him something to buy pure water, as they will say in Ghana. Give him something to buy pure water. Okay. Someone says, can you repeat the one that you just said would need IELTS in PhD? I think maybe he's making reference to the
Oh,
graduate
right.
work permit. Like,
N-
why would you need
I
the
think when I
IELTS?
was talking about a permanent resident, that
Yeah.
even if you have a PhD, yeah, yeah, Adelaide, what I meant was, even if you have a PhD in Canada, when it's time for you to apply for permanent residency, you will still have to write the English test. And we have two forms. We have the IELTS, and then in Canada, they have their own one called a
Mhm.
CELPIP. CELPIP.
Okay.
But that one, you can write it when you are in Canada. But if you're outside Canada, and personally, I wrote the CELPIP, I find it easier than the IELTS,
IELTS, yes.
but
Okay.
it depends on a choice. So,
Okay. Okay. So, I mean, pretty much all that he's saying is that you don't need IELTS for the
school,
school application. You don't need it
right?
for study permit. However, if you want to apply for the permanent residency, that is after you've had your post graduation work permit and you have your work experience, and there are other things that maybe we would need another time to talk about, like
Yeah,
express
yeah,
entry, the Atlantic immigration
yeah,
program, the
yeah.
provincial nominee, like all those things. When you want
Yeah,
to apply to become a permanent resident, then regardless of your studies in Canada, whether you've had a master's degree or a PhD, you will still need to write IELTS. Yeah,
that's right.
that's pretty much what he's saying. And I have a question here on TikTok. I'm not sure if this question, it says from Love Read or something. He said, any tips on how to get a job for an open work permit holder is hard out here, man. So I think she's trying to say maybe she has an open work
Open
permit,
work permit.
but she cannot find a job. Is there any tips? And so if there's open work permit, that means there's also a closed work permit, right? Or can you
Yes,
explain what open work permit
yes.
is? And
So
yeah,
open work permit is not employer specific. That means you can work with any employer. But if it is employer specific, there are some people that maybe employers will apply using LMIA for them. For that, it becomes it's like a closed work permit. You can
okay,
only work with that employer and nobody else for
right.
until that work permit expires. So yeah, that's the difference between the two.
Yeah. So I mean, he said it's hard to find a job. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
currently it's tough. I don't know where the person is, whether I don't know the province or the city, so it's difficult to say anything. But sometimes what people are not doing well is their resume. They are not standing out. People are
okay,
not adding cover letters. They are not
Mm-hmm.
making themselves marketable. That could be one reason, right? And also maybe they are not searching for entry position. Sometimes people aim too high that they forget that you can get your foot in and you climb up. So I don't know what the person is not doing right. So I cannot really judge the person, but all I
Okay.
can recommend is the person should look at making sure the resume is standardized
Mm-hmm. To the Canada
because
format, right? Okay.
exactly. And also when writing cover letters here, remember the employers, they don't read all your cover letters. That is something I have
Mm.
to tell people.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the employers don't read cover letters like this. They have more like a system, okay, like an AI tool. So they will put your cover letter in, they are looking for specific words. So if the AI picks those specific words, the more words they pick, the higher your chances of getting an interview. So
Okay.
in writing your cover letter, make sure that the job description and responsibilities, you capture them in the cover letter. The
Mm.
words as used. So maybe they will say, okay, in this role, you will be uh, assisting customers. Make sure that in your cover letter or in
It
the past,
reflects
I
it.
assisted customers, like use that expression. Right. So,
Mm.
like I
Mm.
said, I don't know what the person is not doing right. So it's very difficult to, advise. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
the
All
person
right.
should look
So
at these things.
yeah. So Lav Read 653 or whoever is watching us. That's what you need to know. I have a video here. I walk through how you can build your resume, how you can build your cover letter, like he said, right? There are so many people applying for the job. So the human being, they cannot sit down and read it by themselves. So they have it what we call the applicant application tracking system, the ATS. So anything that is coming through goes through it. The keywords. So make sure that the job description, don't use a standard cover letter or standard CV for all your job applications. It's not going
Mhm.
to work that way.
And
Be
big
specific.
words. People think
Yeah.
they have to use big English.
Yeah, no, no. So look at the job description and then adapt your CV to reflect the job description and make sure that those keywords also appear in your cover letter so that at least you stand a chance of being called for an interview. Yeah. There is a question here. He said, please, is the open and closed work permit the same as restricted and unrestricted work permit?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's basically that. So
Okay.
restricted means you are restricted to work with a particular employer, but unrestricted means you can, and even for some study permits, on rare occasions, we have restricted study permits where you can only study in a specific school on rare
Oh,
occasions.
wow.
Yeah, on
Okay.
rare occasions, but
Mm,
it also exists, just to throw it out there. So when you
out
take
there.
your study permits, you have to make sure you are reading. They always write the restrictions. So make sure you are
Yeah.
reading what is on it. Yeah. So Eric, that is, yeah, they are the same.
Okay, all right, and okay. There's also one I said, King, please can you explain my question here for me about how to split your course program to be able to get a 3 year postgraduate work permit?
Yeah. For that, as I said, if you do a program that is 8 months, usually you are going to get an post graduation work permit for 8 months. So what
8
some
months.
people do is they would add an extra semester. So maybe they'll pick, maybe if they should have done 4 courses each semester to finish the program in 1 year, they can pick
Hmm.
two, and then get an extra semester to pick another 2 courses, right? It's more about the duration of the program. So,
Right.
but remember, the more school you go, the more money you pay as well. So, yeah, it works like that. So, yeah. So maybe if you are starting in fall, September, so September to December, maybe you do 3 courses. Then January to April, you do maybe 3 courses. Then don't do it in the summer. Use the
Hmm.
summer to work. Then you
Okay.
come back again, the fall to, that is September to December, you pick the remainder of the courses that are left, and then you graduate.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
basically,
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah. So
that's what
so
you
so
do.
this is a pro tip, right? If you wanting to to study or you're already there,
Yeah,
don't try to study in the summer because
yeah,
just use that to work. Unless you have a lot of money, then you don't worry. Use the summer hours to work because I
yeah,
believe in the summer you are not restricted to
yeah. You
20
can work full
hours.
time. Yeah,
Okay,
that
you
is
can work
where we do our gold digging. Yeah,
all right.
summer students, you won't get them to do any activity. Everyone is gone. People are
Okay.
doing 50 hours, 100
I
hours.
went. Yeah, guys. So we'll be wrapping up soon within the next 10 or 15 minutes. If you have any question, bring it. But the question that Adelaide asked, the basic explanation is that the post graduation work permit it allows you to work and also have a route to become a permanent resident. But if your course is 8 months and less, then you can only get 8 months worth of post graduation work permit. But anything beyond that, which is 1 year or 2 years, then you can get up to 3 years of post graduation work permit
Right.
approval. So you become eligible. Let's use that word. You become eligible
Exactly.
because it is
Yeah,
not automatic.
exactly.
It is not automatic. We would have another session where we're going to talk about all these technicalities and how you can go about it. Adelaide is a very serious student. She's going to be with you in Canada in 2024. There's another question. He said, and please also, when exactly do you apply for a scholarship? Is it after you've gained admission or before? Then you apply for your study work permit, or when exactly can you apply for the work scholarship?
Yeah, I think maybe, yeah, when I was explaining or talking about scholarships, if it is an entrance scholarship, you don't apply for it. The school will look at your GPA. If you merit it, they will just give it to you
Okay.
alongside your admission, right? So you get it. But if it is teaching assistantship or research assistantship, then you have to get admission first. You get admission, and then the schools will be posting those jobs on their website. So you always have to be visiting the job website, and also the each school has a system for scholarships. You go there, then you keep searching and applying for scholarship. But for
Okay.
the entrance scholarship, you don't apply for them.
Apply for it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And I think also, I mean, before you can apply for the scholarship, you have to gain admission, right? You have to gain
exactly,
admission, and
exactly.
and 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 if you want to use the scholarship as a source of funding or as a proof of funds to support your study permit, then you have to wait, get the admission, apply for the scholarship, get that scholarship, and then you can use the scholarship as your proof of funds. In that case, you will not necessarily need a bank statement because you have something to show that they are paying your tuition and they're also giving you like monthly stipend or whatever it is. So Adelaide, I hope that would help clarify your question. He shared very great insight about student assistantship and research assistantship. Like I said, we are getting to 2 hours, and I know he needs to go rest his voice and also take care of family. So we'll not go into that. We'll try and arrange another session for
Right, right.
all these scholarship and post
Yeah,
graduation work permit. But
yeah,
if you need more information, just go to his website. Just go to his website. The website is scrolling on your screen. Just book a consultation. Like I said, he's just charging $1,000, and even if you know him, he's not going to charge you anything. Just appreciate him for all the work that he's doing because, people are paying $7,000 just for the visa application alone. And it's not as though they are going to provide you with documents to support your application. You bring it yourself, but they are charging you $7,000. That is because you don't want to do it yourself. You don't want to go to the website and learn. So
yeah,
they have the information. Just go to Google, right? As we were typing, as we were chatting, he say anything, I'll just go to Google and then I'll get a website and I'll put it
yeah,
here. So
yeah,
just do the same thing. Do the
yeah,
same thing.
yeah,
If like connect, if you want to do it yourself, the way you can survive is that don't do it alone. By don't do it alone, I don't mean get other people to help you, but connect with people that have been through the system before. Ask them questions. Charlie, bro, sister, oh my friend, I'm reading this portion. I don't really understand. What exactly do they mean? How can I do it? Right? Instead of saying that, oh, can you do it for me? Because he's a young father with two kids, with a wife,
three.
and he's going to do everything for you. Oh, three.
Yeah,
You know, he's thinking, he's going to do it for you. And, the money is not coming to him, but the people that are back home in Ghana helping him with his console, So $1,000 Canadian dollars is, it might be like money, but actually is nothing. So if you say that, you can even charge, like you can even add something to it for him. All right. Okay. So, yeah, he said Adelaide is there. Ken is aware. I'm coming there soon. Yeah. So Adelaide, make sure you are not just taking the free tips. Buy him gifts. Christmas is around the corner. Just send him something, and don't get all the free information and don't pay in it. Yeah. I'm trying to see if there are some more questions. I'm not seeing any question here. Yeah, we want to try and wrap up. All right. Okay. So that's great. Thank you, Adelaide. You are ready, and I like it. It says wherever there is a will, right?
Yeah,
There is a will,
yeah,
and
yeah,
if you set your heart to it, it doesn't. And that's one thing that King George said, that here in the U.S., in the Canada, they don't hide information.
yeah. Exactly.
Everything is available online, right?
Yeah,
And so if you want to commit to it, that this is my vision, this is my passion, you don't need to come from a rich family, because there was no way I could have stayed in the UK. UK education is one of the most expensive education. I mean, US doesn't even come close. But I had full funding, and if I say full funding, I mean full funding, tuition paid, stipend, monthly basis, air ticket, everything. Because there was no way I could have afforded it, because my parents cannot afford it, my family members cannot afford it. The plane ticket alone, even if I had the scholarship and the plane ticket, we done fundraising in church to support me to do that. But by God's grace, when I committed myself to it, everything lined up. So if you, like I said, connect to people, have faith, keep praying, and then everything is gonna go your way. He said, "Indeed, God bless you both. I really appreciate deep down. You are really imparting a lot, and that's what we want to do. We just want to make sure that for those that don't have, because I mean, even the $1,000, like I said, is maybe now, because of the position I'm in, I'm saying it's nothing, but I know that they genuinely, for people that have $1,000, is nothing. So we want to use this platform that genuinely, some people too don't have that amount of money,
yeah,
but they want to. So
yeah.
we will share that information for you. Just utilize it. Feel free to come back, ask questions, and we'll guide you. But the challenge will only come if you want to say, do it for me. It's not that we don't want to do it for you, but the time may not be there, right? That's why, if you want his help, for him to assist you from A to Z, pay the $1,000 Canadian, and then he will he will assist you. Yeah. So King George, I think we need to wrap up, because I don't want to hold you too much.
That's
Uh,
okay,
you,
man.
you closed from church, you went straight to the office, and your family needs you. So
Yeah.
what would be your closing words for people that are
Uh,
hoping to go to Canada in 2024 and beyond? What will you say to them?
I just want to say they should keep believing, but uh, you get to a point where you realize that just believing is not enough. You have to work it
Mm,
out,
yeah,
right? So uh, even Bible will tell you to work out your salvation, right?
with fear and trembling. Yeah.
Exactly. Like you need to work it out. And I know it's very difficult, but I have to say this. If you want to study in Canada, please save some money because scholarships are just for a few people get access to it. Let me put it that way, right? So as an international student, it's I get people coming, I need scholarship. I'm like, yeah, I don't give scholarship, right? So if you really want to study, I know it's difficult.
Mm,
Uh, but like I said, scholarships are merited, right? They are not given like it's not aid, right? Let me
yeah.
put it like
Yeah.
humanitarian aid. You have to
Mm,
merit it. You have to fight for it
mm.
through your academic standing or through a competition. You have to fight for it. Recently, I just posted a scholarship that I'm running for
Oh
Ghana
yeah,
students,
for Ghana today, I saw that.
and
Yeah.
and it will surprise you to know that because it is a competition, till today I have not received a single full application.
Oh wow.
Because
Sounds
people
like you are
cannot write
doing this to
cover
help
letters.
to
I'm
help
telling
them.
you, because
Wow.
people want you to just say and say, "Oh, come, I have this money. That maybe I'll go and take pictures with them. I've supported." I won't do that. I want to
Because Ali,
prepare
you,
these
you
same
you know your
people.
money is going somewhere that that person is going to
Exactly.
benefit for the future. Yeah.
Exactly. And I want to prepare these same people for graduate scholarship applications, right? If you're
Mm.
able to do it here, by the time you're done with school, when you know there's a scholarship competition, you can get it into it.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
telling
Yeah.
you, bro, people are not
Mm.
patronizing it. And it's worth 6,000 Ghana cedis for two people. So
Wow. So that is
3,000 Ghana
four
cedis
thousand
each
or
person.
3,000
No,
each.
yes, 3,000 each. And it's an entrance scholarship. I know people have filled the form, but they've not read the instructions that when you fill the form, send
Mm-hmm.
your university admission letter, your WASI result, and then
Mm.
your cover letter, send them to this email. So attention to details, right?
Yeah.
Like it's
So
my
I
way
mean,
of trying to
that does that I don't want to cut you short, but does that buttress the point where they make this funny joke that if you want to hide something from an African, just hide it in a
keep it in a
book.
book. Yeah, yeah. It's sad. But like I said, right now, if I've gone to stand some, oh, Charlie, I have money here. I want to help people. People will come crying, help my
Yeah.
child, help my child. I understand because I'm coming from a home that had it not been grace, I wouldn't be here.
Mm.
However, I I wasn't in the classroom like this, and then the scholarship came to me.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
researched, I put in the effort, and then God bless the effort. Right. So
Mm.
all I'm trying to say is, guys, if you're in a school in Canada or abroad, even if you're going to get scholarship, still right now that you're not here, spend less and save more
Yeah.
because you know where you want to go to.
Yeah.
So cut down on maybe the fancy lifestyle you want to live. Try to live within your means, save a little bit more so that because there were some students last year, they came, they were excited. I spoke to them about the tuition fee. They were like, yeah, yeah, we can get. I got admission for them and they couldn't pay the tuition fee. Because with the colleges, once you get admission, they will ask you to pay your first semester tuition fee before you even apply for the visa. That means they
Oh,
will
wow.
issue you a receipt that you will use to apply for the visa as
Apply
well.
for the visa.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
if you're not able to do that, you can't even apply for the visa.
Yeah.
And like I
Yeah.
said, so guys, we all, me, I was telling somebody, Canada is too big. So for people who think we say things to discourage them, we don't want them to come here. When you come here, even if you come to Regina, where I live, I might never see you because
Yeah.
it's big.
It's big.
So it's big for all of us. And when you go up, it doesn't mean I go down. No,
Mm. Mm.
no, no, no,
Mm.
no, no. You're going up doesn't mean I am going down. So there's
Yeah.
no way I will stop anybody from following their dreams. I will rather tell you the truth. But the truth sometimes hurts so much
Mm.
that it's
Mm.
difficult to take. Guys, if you don't have money and your grades are not good enough for scholarships, then you know that your only way is to get a program that you can afford. But
That's a
here,
very, very
when we
cheap,
say
affordable one. Yeah.
the affordable ones to remember because it is affordable, a lot of people are going there and it is
Applying. Yeah.
becoming highly competitive.
Mm.
And affordable here doesn't mean it's inferior. It's still high class. So a lot of good applicants are going there. So I will encourage you, prepare yourself. We all looking forward to seeing you guys prosper wherever you are. I tell people you don't need to travel before you can make it, but sometimes if you don't change environment, that environment becomes toxic and you
Yeah.
struggle to make it right. So we are looking forward to helping you. You don't have to use my consult. If you come, I'll assist you gladly, but you can do it on your own, which I always encourage. Go and do it on your own. If you need a consult, look for a legitimate consult. Go and be involved in the process. And I want to see you at this end smiling because when you come, you could be the door to generations and
Mm.
nations, right?
That's
Because
powerful.
destinies
Powerful.
are inside of you. So
Yeah.
your breakthrough is going to help multitudes. So
Mm.
that's why I want to see everyone do well. So guys, we are praying with you guys, and we hope that everything you're doing will go well with you. And bro, thank you so much for hosting me. It's an honor to share information on such a privileged website. Thank you, and I do really appreciate the work you're doing as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, King George. I really appreciate. I reached out to him. I was like, hey, I want a collaboration. I was even planning like, we have to talk about it. Maybe like 1 month. He's like, no, I'm ready. I'm like, hold on, wait. He said, no, this Saturday, Sunday. I said, oh my, that is such a humble man of God, such a humble person, because I wasn't expecting that was going to happen like within such a short. It's like, can we do it now because my wife is going to travel and I don't want to be having a live session and my kids. So guys, he's doing this from a place of love. He has shared so much information. you know, he's coming from a humble background. I'm coming from a humble background. Look for a school that you can afford. Just look for something that you can afford. Some schools they offer a payment plan and a whole. So just do the research. If you don't want to commit that time and you want to use a consult that you can trust. Be involved in it. If you want to go to him personally, I would say go to him because the money he's charging is nothing, and he's not going to do you any 419. No, he's genuine. If you don't want to use it, you want to be involved. Don't let them give you any admission letter that has been falsified, and in the end you are going to be banned from traveling to Canada or to anywhere. So guys, this is just the beginning of many things that's going to happen here on this channel, here on TikTok. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I strongly encourage you to subscribe. That's a way that you're also going to reward me. That's a way that I'm going to reward myself and my wife. And by using his consult, by patronizing him as well. He's on TikTok, also on YouTube, KJA Consult on TikTok, KJA or King George Aqua. You can find him there. His email is there. Just get access to it. And we are going to plan for another session where we're going to talk about scholarship funding and postgraduate work permit, what we have to do, how you can even bring your spouse and all that. That way you can
Yeah.
support you. But if you don't have the money, you don't have the funds, know that if you go, you have to work and sweat and pay your fees. Don't expect that you are just going to go and lay down and the money is going to come. No, you have to go through the snow. Canada, some portions are so cold, the cold and all that.
Oh,
So said, it's not that we want to discourage you, but we just want to share with you the reality so that you are coming prepared. And time is not on our side. We thank you so much. Those that are on YouTube, we are disconnecting here in the next couple of seconds. And um, yeah, just reach out to us. Use the comment section if you have any other further question. I'll be checking it later on throughout the week and for the rest of the time, and I'll be happy to respond to you. Thank you guys so much, and until we come your way again next time, stay blessed. Stay blessed.
all right.